Have you ever been talking and you can actually see the person stop listening to you? Like either they roll their eyes or you can almost see them drift off and start thinking about something else? Yeah, we all have. What about the opposite? Has somebody just started going on and just talking for a long time, but you got lost in the first minute? Maybe you weren't listening at all. Yeah, we've all been there too. In this video, I want to teach you how to talk in a way that actually keeps people listening. And we're starting right now. Hey, I'm Dr. McCleary, licensed clinical psychologist and Navy veteran. And I make mental health education videos for veterans and their families. So if you're new here, go ahead and click to subscribe. One of the most frustrating things in the world is trying to get a message across and the other person just not getting it. But what we have to understand is listening is actually pretty hard. It's actually a skill set that people aren't always that good at. So what we can do is learn how to talk in a way that encourages people to listen. Even if starting out, you already know they're not that great of a listener. Those people are actually the ones that these tips are perfect for. My first tip for you is to speak for yourself. Don't try to mind read. Don't try to tell the other person what they're thinking. That'll get you in an argument real quick. Speak just about yourself and your own understanding. My second tip for you is to avoid escalating statements. Avoid blaming the other person. Avoid using language like always or never. You never do this. You always do this. The reason for that is you will automatically make somebody stop listening to you. Because now they're thinking about what they're going to say to you next. That's not what you want. You want them to understand what you're trying to say. My next tip for you, and this is going to be hard for some people out there, I want you to keep it brief. Short. A paragraph. If you talk for a whole hour and then expect people to recall everything that you heard, you're setting yourself up for failure. You want to keep it as brief as possible because what you want to do is you want to give people the opportunity to say what they understood or what they heard. The last thing that you want in having a conversation, especially a difficult conversation, is for somebody to get lost in the first 30 seconds. And then you keep moving on as if they understood. That's how a lot of miscommunication happens. We never check in. And we never give the other individual a chance to let us know that they actually understood what we said. Which goes into my next tip for you. If they're not doing this naturally saying what they understood, well, I'm going to ask you to ask them. You pause after you kept it short. And then you ask them, hey, what did you understand there? What did you hear me say there? That way, you know if they were listening or not. Now let me prepare you here. Maybe they misunderstood. Great. Now you have the opportunity to fix whatever was misunderstood before you move on in the conversation. This doesn't happen enough. We just assume just because we said something that people got it. Wrong. That's how a lot of arguments start. My last tip for you is to say what you want instead of what you don't want. You're actually giving people action steps. You're actually giving people things to think about instead of focusing on the negatives, which is the behaviors that maybe you don't want to see anymore. Now, it's not saying that you never have those conversations, but think about your kids. Think about how if you just say what you want, or just say what you don't want, well, your kids really never know what you want. So it's more important that you actually let people know what you want to see, instead of just the things that you don't want to see. If you can follow these few tips when you're having conversations with people, especially difficult conversations, then your conversations will get a lot further. People will actually be able to listen to you, and you will actually be able to see that not just people are listening, but that they're also understanding. Something to think about. If this video was helpful for you, and I hope that it was, please like it or consider subscribing to my channel if you want to learn more about mental health. But more important than that, if this video was helpful for you, well, that means it can probably be helpful for another veteran or another friend or family member of a veteran. So I ask that you share it with them, because at the end of the day, that's really what all this is about. One veteran trying to help another.